Bucks play the Oregon Ducks in Atlanta. Florida State back on the field Sunday. A little bit tougher opponent this week. Not that Duquesne didn't give them a big contest, but LSU might be a little tougher out there in New Orleans at the Superdome. So we got a lot to get into. Miami, we haven't forgotten about you. Your season does technically start on Saturday against Bethune-Cookman. But we're going to do a lot of college football tonight. We're going to do some NFL tonight as well. The Jaguars down to 53 men on their roster. They had to do that by 4 o'clock this afternoon, and they did. So we'll break that down as well. But it's all NFL, all college football, and high school ball tonight as well as our high school spotlight for week number 2. Boy, what a week 1 we had under the high school Friday night lights. It was fantastic. Tonight we'll talk to Matthew Toplin, the head coach of Bowles. We'll talk to Donovan Maslin, the head coach of Raines. My man Justin Barney of Channel 4 for the high school spotlight. We got a ton to do, and we are glad you are with us. Let's run down the guest lineup really quick. Coming up in about half an hour or less, Hayes Carline of The Frangie Show. We'll look at the final 53 on the Jaguar roster, at least for now. We'll see about waiver claims, and we'll talk about that with Hayes. But for right now, the roster stands at 53, and we will take a look at it. Coming up in the 11 o'clock hour, hey, Gator fans, how about Riedel Anthony? Absolutely, Riedel Anthony, one of the best wide receivers to ever wear a Gator uniform. He is going to be the honorary Mr. Two-Bits on Saturday night between Florida and Utah, and Riedel Anthony will be right here with us on Hacker After Dark in less than an hour. So Gator fans, I'm sure you're going to enjoy that conversation with Gator great Riedel Anthony coming up inside of an hour. And as I mentioned, the high school spotlight coming up in the 11 o'clock hour. But as we always do on Hacker After Dark, we kick it off with a big deal of the night and Dylan Denmark. Let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal?
No big deal. It is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
All right, so let's really look and examine what the Jaguars have done here in the last 24 to 30 hours. They went from 80-some-odd players down to 53, and a lot of surprises. Go back to yesterday. Laquan Treadwell, cut. Rudy Ford, cut. And Laviska Shenault traded. I had all 3 of those guys in my final 53. Translation, I was wrong. And I bet a lot of you were wrong. I was surprised they cut Treadwell. I really was. Apparently the Rudy Ford thing, the more you hear, the more you read, more people you talk to, that might have been a mutual parting of the ways. Maybe he would have made the roster, but he really didn't like that he was going to be relegated basically to special teams in his mind. Wanted more of a chance to do things defensively like last year. That was apparently not in the cards for him. So they went their separate ways. But Laquan Treadwell, I was surprised yesterday, and I'm still surprised that he did not make the team. You trade Laviska Shenault. Yeah, well, again, 121 catches in 2 years. I think Shenault might have gotten somewhat of a bad rap, but I get it. He really didn't do much in the preseason to earn a spot. He did not do as much as Christian Kirk or Marvin Jones or Zay Jones or Tim Jones. I even thought Jamal Agnew, in a very, very short amount of playing time, did more the preseason than Laviska Shenault did. So I understand why you trade him. You get a 7th-round pick in 2023, and you get a 6th-round pick in 2024. Terrible value for a 2nd-rounder in 2020, but if he wasn't in your future plans, at least you got something for him. Thank you, Dave Caldwell. Again, C.J. Henderson, the 9th pick in 2020. Kayvon Chason, the 20th pick in 2020. Laviska Shenault, the 42nd pick in 2020. That is terrible. So, that was yesterday. Today, Jay Tufele cut. Wow. The first pick in the 4th round of the 2021 draft. The first pick in the 4th round. You call that a mid-round selection because it's round 4. He was a top 100 guy, I believe, right? 96 some odd picks in the first 3 rounds. You took Tufele in the top 100, or by most the top 105. That's a decent draft pick. And you only see him for a year and a preseason, basically. And you cut him. I was very surprised that Jay Tufele was shown the door today. You combine that with Israel Antwine, another defensive lineman in the interior, being shown the door as well. And I have no doubt I will be stunned, flabbergasted, if the Jaguars do not add at least 1 or 2 interior defensive linemen off the waiver wire. I cannot imagine a scenario where they do not add at least 1 or 2 interior defensive linemen. Who do you have in the middle of that D-line right now? Devon Hamilton, Foley Fatukasi, Roy Robertson Harris. I guess you could move Dewan Smoot in there if need be. But you don't have the big bodies, man. And I know that Doug Peterson said today at his press conference that those guys aren't on the field a lot anymore in today's NFL with the way offenses are run. But you got to have them in there at some point, particularly in this division, when you're going up against Derrick Henry twice a year, Jonathan Taylor twice a year. They believe they have something special in Dameon Pierce out in Houston, who, by the way, is going to start as a rookie. Hey, Dan Mullen, do you hear that? Dameon Pierce, a guy that you just flat out refused to give the ball to in Gainesville, is going to start on opening day as a rookie in the NFL. In the AFC South, maybe more so than in some other divisions, you do have to have some bodies, man. You need some beef in the middle. That's why I would have to think that 1 or maybe even 2 waiver claims are going to be in the interior of that defensive line. I think one name to watch is Danny Shelton, the veteran, former New England Patriot. There were reports out a couple of weeks ago that it was down to Kansas City and Jacksonville for Danny Shelton. Shelton chose the Chiefs. Well, bad choice. They cut him today. So he's available. Is Jacksonville still interested a couple of weeks later? So I think interior defensive line needs to be addressed. Does wide receiver need to be addressed? It was an embarrassment of riches, or so it seemed, 24 hours ago and change. But now that you cut Laquan Treadwell, you trade Laviska Shenault, the young guys like Jeff Cotton, Kevin Austin have been cut, probably hoping those guys get through waivers to make it back to the practice squad. Right now, you only got 5 wide receivers on your offense. And one of those wide receivers is a former defensive back in Jamal Agnew. You got Christian Kirk, you got Zay Jones, you got Marvin Jones, you got Tim Jones, you got the Joneses covered, and you got Agnew. Do you need to add a wide receiver? What about a Tyler Johnson in Tampa Bay? Guy that caught 36 passes last year from Tom Brady in a Buccaneer uniform. Cut today. Another surprising cut. Do you need to add a running back? They only have 3 running backs on the roster. They cut Sargent. So right now you got Travis Etienne, who's never played a regular season NFL game in his life. You got Snoop Connor, who's never played an NFL regular season game in his life. And you got James Robinson, who tore his Achilles in December. So look at some of the running backs that got cut. Marlon Mack got cut. If I tell you tomorrow the Jaguars picked up Marlon Mack off of waivers, I'd be fine with that. Sony Michel in Miami, I've heard people bring his name up. Do you need a little insurance just in case James Robinson is not ready to go or has a setback or whatever? The number one waiver claim is a big deal. The Jaguars did not use it last year to their advantage. They did have Urban Meyer as their head coach, which probably answers why they did not use it to their advantage. But they have it again. They're going to have their pick of anybody that was released today that's not a vested NFL player. Anybody with, I believe, 4 years of league experience or under, the Jaguars can claim, and nobody can stop them. And how many claims do they put in? Remember, last year was only one, Tyron Johnson. I think you're going to see 3, maybe 4 additions to this roster in the next 24 to 48 hours. So even though there is a final 53-man roster, some of the guys at the tail end of that roster, to me, unfortunately, are still going to get a visit from the Turk. By the way, the Jaguars kept both kickers. They're not going to keep both kickers for the next week and a half. There will be at least one roster spot open up because one of those kickers is going to get cut. I'm surprised McCourt didn't win the job already. But we'll see. But yeah, look, there are a lot of interesting things about this Jaguar roster right now. Only 3 running backs. Only 5 wide receivers. They kept 4 tight ends, right? Manhurts, Farrell, Arnold, Ingram. Offensive line, I believe they kept 9. 2 quarterbacks. You're going to have to add some offensive players. I would think maybe 1 running back, maybe 1 wide receiver. And again, I would certainly think you're going to add 1 or not, if not 2 guys in the interior of that defensive line. So cutdown day has arrived. Over 900 players got cut today in the National Football League. 900 guys. Think about it, 32 teams. Each team cut roughly 30 players today. Absolutely incredible. So we'll see what the Jaguars do with that top waiver claim, and we should know that answer sooner rather than later. 641-1010 is the phone number. If you want to get involved tonight on the phone line and on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures, let me bring in Dylan Denmark. Denmark, is it my understanding that on a Tuesday night, a 10 to midnight show in Jacksonville, Florida, are you telling me that we have a $25 gift card to Famous Automotive and Quick Lube to give away tonight?
We do.
That is absolutely incredible. This is for you, the hardworking men and women of Jacksonville, Florida. This is for the midnight shift. This is for the graveyard shift. Denmark and I put our blood, our sweat, and our tears on the line every Tuesday night on this radio program for you. And for you right now, we will take caller number 4 at 641-1010 for a $25 gift card to Famous Automotive. I've gotten my car service there. They do an outstanding job. And they'll do an outstanding job for you, and you'll have a $25 gift card right now. Caller 4, 641-1010. End of the world of college ball. That's next. Tuesday night, Hacker After Dark, Jacksonville. And as always, we are glad you are with us.
When sports news breaks and you need to know, there's just one place you need to go. 1010XL, Jacksonville Sports Radio.
Waste Management is paying a $5,000 bonus to CDL drivers and heavy truck mechanics for jobs in Jacksonville, Green Cove Springs, Callahan, and St. Augustine. Apply online at WM.com/careers.
Equal opportunity employer.
On the south side, we got 6 poly panels, and please make sure they're flush.
Kwame is converting everyone on the block to solar power.
Please get a crew to wrap up 202 South Duane.
He needs more certified installers before the sun sets on his business boom.
Let's pick up the pace. We got a long day.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Golfers, tee it up this year at Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the hottest new arrivals from Callaway. Featuring the new Rogue ST drivers, Callaway's most stable driver ever, with tungsten speed cartridge, jailbreak speed frame, and AI flash face. Engineered for max speed and forgiveness. 4 different models to fit every golfer's needs. Think speed? Go Rogue. Swing by Edwin Watts Golf Shops and get custom fit for the new Rogue ST drivers today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, and shop us online at worldwidegolfshops.com.
People often think if they don't have symptoms, they shouldn't get tested for colon cancer. If you're 45 or older, it's time to get checked. Hicken here for the Borland Groover Foundation. The key to surviving colon cancer, early detection and prevention. Protect your end zone. If you're over 45, ask your doctor about a colonoscopy. 45 is the new 50. The Borland Groover Foundation is a nonprofit organization devoted to helping the community and save lives. Visit BorlandGrooverFoundation.com for more.
Let's fire up the flavor and ignite those appetites. Let's slow down and smell the barbecue. Because all your favorites are smoked for hours and ready for eating when you are. From our famous ribs to slow smoked pork. Enjoy some perfection by the plateful, safely in our dining room or in the comfort of your home. With curbside pickup, drive-through, and delivery. Sonny's Barbecue. Local pitmasters since '68.
Life is about choices and the decisions you make. I'm David Robbins with Epstein & Robbins. If you're convicted of a DUI, you'll have to face severe consequences. Walking through the doors of the courthouse or appearing at a bond hearing can be extremely intimidating. Without the right lawyer, you're likely to make the wrong decision. Let our team help you make the right decisions in court. Epstein & Robbins, the right choice.
Epstein & Robbins, fighting for your rights since 1975.
Find your why in a rewarding career at the First Coast YMCA. Did you know the Y runs the before and after school programs at every public elementary school in Clay County? It's true, and we can only open up new spots for students when we have enough staff. And that means the Y needs you. The Y is an equal opportunity employer, and we're hiring youth program leaders, lifeguards, instructors, and much more. Visit your local Y for more information. Find your passion, find your why, and a career at fcymca.org.
Tired of living with chronic joint pain from arthritis or injury? Stop with the steroids and pain meds and don't have surgery until you check out regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics.
These therapies can help the body have long-term relief of your pain.
Meet Dr. Justin Garzone, medical director at QC Kinetics.
We use your body's own healing properties, highly concentrate them, and then use that to restore and repair the damaged tissues in your joints.
This is a cutting-edge natural solution from local medical professionals.
We have a team of medical assistants, physician assistants, nurse practitioners, and physicians that are trained specifically just to do regenerative medicine.
And Dr. Garzone speaks from personal experience. Before joining the QC Kinetics team, he was an actual patient.
I am now pain-free.
You too can get lasting relief from joint pain. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522. That's 904-274-5522. 904-274-5522.
Hicken here for Zero Res. Fall is my favorite time of the year. It's cooling down outside. It's perfect weather to get your tile and carpet cleaned. It's Zero Res. They're falling back in time. For September only, you get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned for $129, and they'll clean a 4th room free. That's right, the 4th room is on me. At Zero Res, their mission is simple. Become the most trusted provider in their industry. Give Zero Res a chance to earn your trust. Zero Res, spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
Mark Watson for Hardball Creative. Free promo tip. Put your logo on golf balls and give them to clients who are bad golfers. More hacks equals more exposure. Trust me, it's science. HardballCreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
His name is John Osher, but we call him Johnny O. And when it comes to the Jags, O knows.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes. Wednesdays from 10 to noon on Jaguars Today. Brought to you by Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Yes, it is. And as always, we are streaming Hacker After Dark for your viewing pleasure. Head to YouTube, the 1010XL YouTube channel. You'll see Hacker After Dark there until midnight tonight. Likewise, the 1010XL Twitter, at 1010XL on Twitter. Hacker After Dark will be there until midnight tonight. 641-1010 is the phone number on the phone line and on the text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Hayes Carline of the Frangie Show, our Jaguar guy, here on 1010XL. He will join me in less than 15 minutes, and we'll review everything that has basically gone on with the Jaguar roster here in the last day or day and a half. The one thing I will say, and look, I think sometimes in the media, myself included, we think Twitter is like life, right? We think every human being that is a Jacksonville Jaguar fan is on Twitter. That's simply not the case. There's a good majority, I wouldn't say majority, there's a good amount of Jaguar fans on Twitter, but in a 65,000-seat stadium on Sundays for game day, every person in that stadium does not follow along on social media. Not even close. And I do believe that sometimes myself, some of my colleagues lose sight of that. Having said that, the portion of Jaguar fans that are on Twitter that I interact with have done a complete 180 on Trent Baalke. And I do think it's hilarious. I don't know why Trent Baalke got annihilated by this fan base. Well, actually, hold on. I do know why. Because he was the last man standing. You couldn't take any more aggression out on Gus Bradley, on Doug Marrone, on Dave Caldwell, certainly on Urban Meyer. You went after Shad Khan a little bit, but he's the owner, right? He's not going anywhere. So who was the last guy left on Survivor Island? It was Trent Baalke. And the wrath of Jaguar Nation on social media came down on Trent Baalke in the months of December, January, and February. And I wonder now that you see what he's done in free agency and the draft. He absolutely robbed Carolina last year, getting Dan Arnold and what turned out to be Chad Muma for C.J. Henderson. Are you kidding? He just traded Chenault, who they were going to cut, for 2 draft picks, a 7th in 2023 and a 6th in 2024. I do wonder if any of the clown movement or any of the annihilators of Trent Baalke on social media might be feeling like maybe they went too far, maybe we're wrong in assessing the job he's done. I told you last night, Baalke already, in less than 2.5 years as the GM, is already the best GM the Jaguars have had in over a decade. I would put his body of work right now over Gene Smith's. Not even close. Now, as much as you give Dave Caldwell credit, or would like to give him credit for the likes of Jalen Ramsey and Dante Fowler and guys of that sort, Leonard Fournette, you can't because of the draft picks like C.J. Henderson and Luke Jokel and Blake Bortles and Calebon Chason and Laviska Shenault. Both Gene Smith and Caldwell were just awful. Awful general managers. Decent enough humans, awful GMs. Baalke's the best GM the Jaguars have had in a decade plus. And I won't say there's any remorse. You're a fan. You have every right to speak your mind. That's the beauty of sports, right? If you want to tell somebody they suck, you tell them they suck. If you want to sing their praises, you sing their praises. That is what being a sports fan is. But clearly, I think you would be willing to admit, just as I am willing to admit right now, that there was a massive overreaction in a negative way to Trent Baalke in December, January, and February. And when the dust settled and when Shad Khan kept him, as angry as some of you were, and you know who you are, look at this Jaguar roster over the last 2 years. Look at the guys that Trent Baalke has brought in here. He's brought in every wide receiver that's on this roster right now. Every one of them. Jamal Agnew, Tim Jones, Marvin Jones, Christian Kirk, Zay Jones. They're all Trent Baalke guys. He's brought in every tight end. Now, some will argue Farrell was drafted because of Urban Meyer. Fair enough. But Baalke brought in Manhertz. Brought in Dan Arnold via trade. Went out and signed Evan Ingram. Offensive line, Luke Fortner, Brandon Scherf, Walker Little. Defensively, you say? You know who Baalke guys are? Well, Trayvon Walker, Chad Muma, Devin Lloyd, Roy Robertson Harris, Arden Key, Shaq Griffin, Rayshawn Jenkins, Tyson Campbell, Darius Williams, Andre Sisco. You get the idea. Baalke brought all of them in. And these guys look like they're going to be good players. This looks like a functional NFL team. We're not asking for a lot here in Jacksonville. We're not asking for a division title. We're not asking for a playoff berth. At least I'm not. I just want this team to look functional, to look like they belong on an NFL field. And an overwhelming amount of games over the last decade, minus 2017, this team did not look like they belonged on an NFL field. With Gene Smith as general manager, with Dave Caldwell as general manager. I get the feeling when you see him in Washington, whether they win the game or not, I think they actually are going to win the game. I know many of you don't, but whatever. Whether they win or not, they're going to look like they belong. Baalke has done a good job with this roster in 2 years. And if this trend continues, you give him another offseason with another draft, not as much money to spend in free agency, but still some. I like what they're doing, man. And I just wonder if there is any, we might have been wrong about Trent Baalke conversations going on Jaguar social media. I know there is. I know my buddies I talked to that maybe didn't dress up as clowns, but they were not opposed to it, that are eating a little crow right now. Which is a good thing, because if all you Baalke clown people have to eat a little crow from your buddies, that means Baalke's doing a good job and the Jaguars are winning games. And I think every one of us, media, fans, everyone, would sign up for that right now. The Jaguars are down to 53 on their roster. They had to be there by 4 o'clock this afternoon. They got there. Hayes Carline of The Frangie Show. He's our guy when it comes to Jaguar coverage, and he joins me next on Hacker After Dark. Let's look at the 53. Let's look at what happened yesterday, what happened today, and what will happen over the next 24 to 48 hours on the waiver wire. Hayes Carline next on Hacker After Dark.
He's not afraid to tell the truth.
You ever hear of Superman? He died fighting next to me. My point exactly.
The Truth Teller, Rick Ballou.
What are your superpowers again?
Weeknights on 1010XL.
I help him because no one else does.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Here's your 1010XL First Coast Community Calendar.
To register for Police Athletic League flag football, cheerleading, and boxing, go to jaxpalsports.org.
Play poker and help families in the Hold'em for Life Texas Hold'em Poker Tournament, Saturday, September 17th at Blessed Trinity Parish Hall. Call 847-778-8824.
Dreams Come True is the only local wish-granting organization giving dreams and special times to local children battling life-threatening illnesses. Find out how you can help at dreamscometrue.org.
The Hometown for Heroes Home Buyers Program helps you get your down payment and closing costs paid. Call to learn more. 574-7180.
If you could benefit from a grief and loss support group, call Haven Hospice at 279-1677.
If you're involved in a community event and you'd like us to help spread the word, find out how at 1010XL.com.
Men, if you're struggling with erectile dysfunction or PE and frustrated taking pills that don't work, Prime Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough medical treatments that effectively treat your problem. 98% of patients experience immediate results during their first office visit. And for a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Rubinsky. The physicians at Prime Men's Medical Center offer the most advanced treatments that eliminate ED and PE. Now men are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
Guys, to eliminate your frustration in the bedroom, call Prime Men's Medical Center now to take advantage of this exclusive limited-time offer. Your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free, and you'll see instant results right in the office. Call now, 904-664-8217. 904-664-8217. That's 904-664-8217.
Pickett here for Roof It Right. Don't do it, people. Don't do it. I've told you once. I've told you twice. I'll tell you thrice. Don't let anyone touch your roof if the truck doesn't say Roof It Right. If you need help with your roof this hurricane season, Roof It Right. Need a warranty that's going to actually protect you? Roof It Right. You say you got a little leak? Yeah, I'd roof it right too. See them today at roofitRightFL.com. That's roofitRightFL.com. Roof It Right so you can sleep at night.
Hey, Jags fans, Brian Sexton for Dreamfinders Homes. In a complex housing market, do decisions on the biggest purchase of your life stress you out? At Dreamfinders Homes, they can build the home of your dreams in one of their many communities in Northeast Florida. With a mortgage company in-house, they're here to assist you throughout the entire process. Choose from their wide range of single-family homes or townhomes from the 300,000s. Dreamfinders Homes specializes in homes built to fit your lifestyle. Call 904-590-2545 or visit dreamfindershomes.com.
Hey folks, Mike Dempsey here, and right now is the time to ramp up your drafting for fantasy football season. I always use Underdog Fantasy to draft now because there's no in-season management. Of course, I do it to try and win the $10 million in prizes too, but it organically prepares me for my local season-long drafts as well. So sign up now, head to UnderdogFantasy.com or the App Store, and when you do sign up, use promo code 1010XL. Underdog will match your first deposit up to $100. Underdog Fantasy, don't forget to sign up with promo code 1010XL.
Estate cleanouts, hoarding cleanouts, old appliances, and even tools. There are tons of reasons why you or someone you know may need expert help clearing space. J-Dog Junk Removal will responsibly help you free up space. That means when they leave your place, it looks better. Whether it's you or a loved one that needs one type of cleanout at your home, trust the veterans at J-Dog Junk Removal. Veteran-owned and operated. Call 844-GET-JDOG or visit jdog.com.
Kick off this fall on the links at Junior Achievement's annual Golf Classic at San Jose Golf and Country Club. For more than 11 years, the funds raised support JA's efforts to help inspire and prepare our youth to succeed in a global economy. All participants enjoy on-the-green breakfast, lunch, drinks, post-play reception, awards, contests, prizes, and much more. To play or sponsor, contact Stephanie Saman at janfl.org or call 398-9944, extension 231.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On August 30th, 1905, Tigers' future Baseball Hall of Famer Ty Cobb makes his MLB debut, doubling in a 5-3 win over the Highlanders.
This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. This is Hacker After Dark on 1010XL. Now, hello. Another great guest on the Farah and Farah phone line. Brought to you by the accident attorneys at Farah and Farah.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. It is a Tuesday evening. We are glad you are with us. The cuts are in for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They started yesterday. They finished today. A lot of news came out of the waves and releases. And with that, let's get to our man, Hayes Carline. You hear him every afternoon on the Frangie Show, and he's our guy when it comes to Jaguar coverage here on 1010XL. Hayes, how you doing?
Doing great, Hacker. How are you?
Hayes, we are good, man. Thank you for the time. And let's dive right in. All right, so yesterday it began. Rudy Ford gets waived. Laquan Treadwell gets waived. Let's begin there. Either of those catch your eye, Rudy Ford or Laquan Treadwell?
Well, I thought they both would make it, so I thought it was a surprise. Treadwell, I think, is a mistake because Treadwell, I think, on 3rd and 12 can run a 16-yard route, a reliable route, get open, catch the ball, move the chains. And so I like Laquan Treadwell. I think he plays with a nice savvy. I don't think every player on the roster has to be 23 years old. So I would have kept Laquan Treadwell. Yes, he doesn't have upside, but he's reliable, and Trevor Lawrence needs that. I understand that he's got Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram and Zay Jones and Marvin Jones, but the odds that all of those guys are going to be able to play 17 games is low. So I would have liked to have had Laquan Treadwell. I would have cut Laviska Shenault or traded him, which obviously we'll get to. So I'm not keeping Laquan Treadwell in spite of Tim Jones. He deserves to be on there. But I would have liked to have seen Laquan Treadwell. Rudy Ford, it sounds like the player was upset about his role, so that makes a little more sense. I don't know why Rudy Ford thought that he'd be a nickel with this regime. The only reason it happened last year is because they were basically stuck, and he played well, but he's not a nickel corner in this league. So if he was upset because they signed Darius Williams and kept Trey Herndon, then his representation should have been able to set him straight there. But I would have liked to have had him on the team. Obviously, he's very good in special teams, and I do think he's a pretty good safety for depth. But that's one that one doesn't concern me. Laquan Treadwell does to an extent because I would have kept him just because, like I said, he's a reliable guy, and I think you need to have those kind of guys in the room and around Trevor Lawrence for when you have an injury, which they will have. I mean, the odds that all three of his top receivers are going to play all 17 games is a very, very low probability.
And you would think a guy like Laquan Treadwell might get picked up by another team. So the odds of him coming back to Jacksonville, I know he got cut last year and came back. I would seriously doubt that happens again. Those were two of the three biggest stories yesterday, Hayes. You mentioned Laviska Shenault. Good grief. I saw you tweet it yesterday. The 2020 draft, the fact that C.J. Henderson and Laviska Shenault are now both in Carolina when one was the 9th pick and the other was the 42nd pick in the NFL draft 28 months ago is embarrassing. They get a 7th-round pick in 2023 and a 6th-round pick in 2024 from Carolina. Your thoughts on Laviska Shenault now being a Panther?
Well, I think, first off, I greatly appreciate the Carolina Panthers because I think they've sort of bailed the Jaguars out to some extent with these two selections, at least being able to get something back in return. But yeah, it was the worst draft in franchise history, and people like to throw 2008 out there, and I get that they moved up big but to me that was one mistake. They moved up to take Derek Harvey, and Derek Harvey didn't work out. Although compared to Henderson and Chason and Shenault, I'd argue he had every bit the impact that those three had. I think what makes it worse is 2020, the draft had evolved a long way in 12 years. And for Dave Caldwell, he had been doing this for a while. So you had a seasoned general manager, a much more, I think, sophisticated draft process in the 12 years since the Derek Harvey draft. And to have 3 premium picks and to come away 0 for 3 on those picks it's almost difficult to do, particularly when you look at the guys that were around those picks that they did not elect to take in those spots. So, I mean, just to give you an example, if they'd gone receiver, and bear with, because they could have done this. I talked to Dave Caldwell about this at the Combine before this draft. I said, do you ever get the sense of I'm just going to take 2 receivers and dare defenses to cover them? And he said, yeah, it runs through your mind. Well, it could have been CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson. I mean, now granted, they wouldn't have Trevor Lawrence. They would have been too good to have, the number one pick. But that's what it could have been. And that's before you even get to what they could have done with the Laviska Shenault pick. So to me, without question, the 2020 draft is the worst in franchise history. To miss on all three of those premium picks, and it not even to be close. I mean, K'Lavon Chaisson's going to make the team, but he's never going to be an impactful player here. So they were 0 for 3 on that, and it's stunning.
Final moments here with Hayes Carline of the Frangie Show. You get him every afternoon as the Jaguars have made their cuts. They're down to their 53-man roster limit. All right, Hayes, earlier this afternoon, I guess the one that really jumps out is Jay Tufele, right? The first pick in the 4th round of the 2021 draft, just flat out cut today by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Took me aback. I'll be honest, I was very surprised. How did you feel about it?
Well, again, I think it speaks to just how bad the roster is when you get to the bottom third, which the preseason exposed. But again, what the plan now has to be, you're going to not only have to add one, you're going to have to add 2 interior defensive linemen, because it wasn't just Tufele. They also cut Antwine, who was the other player that Doug Peterson brought up when they released Malcolm Brown. I mean, the interior defensive line has been decimated through training camp, and not through attrition, just through Malcolm Brown kind of lost the fire to play, it seemed like. They were smart to release him. And I'm not saying these are bad moves, but it just speaks to how bad the roster was going into training camp at that position, where you've got nothing now. Now you've got to go out and I think get at least 2 guys that you've got to somewhat depend on right out of the gate. So it's a bad deal. The interior defensive front is probably the biggest weakness on the roster right now for the Jaguars, and that's a dangerous place to be. In a line of scrimmage league where you've got to stop Derrick Henry and Jonathan Taylor, and maybe Dameon Pierce in Houston becomes a big-time player. We'll see. It's a concern, and then you factor in that Foley Fatukasi has a calf injury, that he probably isn't going to be 100% if he's able to play week 1 at Washington. So, that run defense that's just been a sieve for the last couple of years may not get a lot better. And that's a concern. They need to sign a veteran, whether it's like a Danny Shelton type. They need to sign a veteran, and they need to claim a young interior defensive lineman on the waiver wire. But I think they need 2 guys there.
And this isn't rocket science, Hayes. The Danny Shelton thing, look, the rumor was it came down to Kansas City and Jacksonville. He chose Kansas City. Kansas City cuts him. Is Jacksonville still interested 2 weeks later? We're about to find out. As you mentioned, the number 1 priority on the waiver wire. Before the Jay Tufele cut, I'm thinking Tyler Johnson, the wide receiver in Tampa that got cut, shocked me. He got almost 40 grabs last year for Tom Brady and the Bucs. I'm thinking we'll bring him on board. But I agree with you. Now at this point, that first waiver priority has to be for a defensive lineman, I would think.
Well, and keep in mind, Hacker, and that's a good point that you bring up, because they've got the first right of refusal on anybody that hits waivers. So they don't have to prioritize the defensive tackle over the wide receiver. If they like them both, they just put the claim in and they get the player. So, and from that aspect, it's a huge advantage. I mean, if they wanted to claim 7 guys, they could. And so obviously they weren't very active with it last year. They only claimed Tyron Johnson, the receiver. That was a mistake. This year, I think they're going to be way more active with it. It's one of those things that you don't worry about. Well, I think last year there was some concern about, I don't want to disrupt the team chemistry. I don't want these guys to go through training camp together, and then week 1 we, bring in 5 new guys. Well, that's how the NFL is. I mean, that welcome to the NFL. And it's a meritocracy. It is a very tough business, particularly this week. It's probably in a cutthroat league, this is probably the week where it's the most cutthroat. So they don't. The good news is they don't have to have a board of a priority board. They can literally just say, we like these 7 guys, assuming that they're on waivers. If they're vested veterans, then they're free to sign with whoever they want. But most of these guys that are going to be released are going to be subject to waivers. So, they can get the receiver, the defensive tackle, a linebacker, a running back, and they have the first right of refusal on all those players. It's a tremendous advantage for building up a subpar bottom third of the roster, which is what they have. So I expected 3 to 4 claims after seeing the cuts that they've made. I think that number is going to be somewhere between 4 to 6.
Wow, could be a very active next 24 to 48 hours. Hayes Carline, he's our guy covering the Jaguars for 1010XL. You get him every afternoon on the Frangie Show. Hayes, I know you're a busy man, brother. Thank you very much. We'll talk soon.
Sounds great, Hacker. Thanks for having me. Have a great night.
Always appreciate Hayes Carline for joining us here on Hacker After Dark. So you look at where the roster has settled with the 53 guys that are on it. Again, I do not believe that the 53 guys that are on it right now will ultimately be the final 53 that are on it when the Washington game comes around in, 11 days, right? You got probably a need at running back. I think maybe you need to pick up at least one wide receiver. And I think you need to add some depth on the interior defensive line. So could you add 2, 3, even 4 guys off the waiver wire? And if you do, that means 3 or 4 of the 53 right now are going to have to be released. Now, keep in mind, the Jaguars kept both kickers for now. They believe there is still a competition there. I think that's going to be James McCourt's job based on what I've seen. But regardless, there's a competition there right now. So one of those kickers will get released. That'll free up one spot. But if you're at the tail end of this roster, probably don't want to get too comfortable yet, because I think they are going to add some guys through the waiver wire that can come in and that can help this football team. More on the Jacksonville Jaguars coming up in just a little bit. It is episode number 2, week number 2 of the High School Spotlight here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM on Hacker After Dark. Coming up in less than a half an hour, Matthew Toblin, the head coach of the Bulls Bulldogs, Donovan Maslin, the head coach of the Reigns Vikings, and Justin Barney of Channel 4, all will join me on the High School Spotlight here on Hacker After Dark. Coming up next, Gator fans, you got a treat coming up. Riedel Anthony, one of the best wide receivers to ever wear a Florida Gator football uniform. I looked it up earlier. He's in the top 10 of every wide receiving category you could imagine. He's top 5 of most of those categories. Have there ever been 3 better receivers on one Gator football team than Jaquez Green, Riedel Anthony, and Ike Hilliard? I don't believe so. I mean, he's Ike Hilliard and Riedel Anthony and Kwesi. I'll throw all 3 of them in there. Probably 3 of the top 10 wide receivers that ever played at the University of Florida. You combine that with Fred Taylor in the backfield, Danny Werfel at quarterback. Are you kidding me? How did they ever lose a game in Spurrier's offense with those guys? We're going to catch up with Riedel Anthony. Something very, very cool. Riedel Anthony is going to be the honorary Mr. Two Bits on Saturday night at the Swamp for the Florida-Utah game. It's a great honor. A lot of Gators in the past have done it, not just former football players, but former athletes at the University of Florida. Of course, the Two Bits tradition, one of the great traditions at Florida. I remember as a kid sitting in the south end zone. I had absolutely no idea who this guy was, but I saw a guy in a shirt and tie coming up 3-4 rows in front of me with a whistle, and he was holding up signs, 2 bits, 4 bits, 6 bits, $1, all for the Gators, stand up and holler. And I thought that was the greatest thing I'd ever seen in my life. I remember when I was 9, 10 years old. I mean, this was awesome. And, of course, Mr. Two Bits did that for many, many more years till he retired. And now it's a tradition. It's an honorary tradition that somebody gets to do it every home game. Riedel Anthony gets that honor on Saturday. So we'll talk to Riedel Anthony about that. We'll talk to him about his time at Florida with Spurrier. And I want to talk to him about Billy Napier. What does a former Gator great like Riedel Anthony think about the new regime in Gainesville with Billy Napier and his staff? I think you'll enjoy this, Gator fans. Riedel Anthony, next on Hacker After Dark.
The future is now.
This is Gators head football coach Billy Napier. Join Sean Kelly and the rest of the broadcast team as they bring you Gator football all season long.
The Gators open the season against Utah Saturday, September 3rd. Kickoff at 7. Pre-game coverage starts at 4 on Jacksonville's home of Florida Gators football. 1010XL.
If you've been thinking about a new Toyota, then stop thinking and start buying during the national sales event going on now at Arlington Toyota. And check this out. Arlington's got 500 new Toyotas available, and that makes now the perfect time to slip into a new ride. Plus, you get 30 days to love your new purchase or exchange it, and a lifetime warranty with your new Toyota purchase. So stop thinking and start buying. Better yet, start your engines. It's the national sales event at Arlington Toyota. Shop in person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, and online at arlingtontoyota.com today.
Hacker here with incredible news when it comes to internet. If you want it all like I do, there's a new way to save with Xfinity. Now get Xfinity Internet for 12 months with unlimited data and Wi-Fi equipment included, plus a free 4K streaming box and one line of unlimited mobile, all for just $75 a month with no annual contract required. That's the Xfinity 3-for-1 bundle. Switching to Xfinity has never been easier. It's risk-free, and you get all the Wi-Fi power your family needs for a whole house full of connected devices. This is a limited-time offer. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto-pay with a stored bank account. New fast internet customers only. Xfinity Mobile requires post-pay. Xfinity Internet. Go to Xfinity.com/3-for-1. Call 1-800-XFINITY or do what I did and drop into an Xfinity store today.
Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute is the sports medicine leader in Northeast Florida. We're proud to be the official sports medicine provider for your hometown teams, including the Jaguars, Sharks, Axemen, Armada, and the Jumbo Shrimp. We have the most cutting-edge resources for sports medicine care, including active armor casting, Alter-G anti-gravity treadmills, and highly trained physicians and athletic trainers. JOI is truly where the pros go, and so should you.
Florida Gators football on 1010XL is brought to you by Renewal by Anderson Windows and Doors, T-Mobile, and Hannah and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000.
I'm Coach Ellen Darling with Darley's Plumbing. You know I'm a baseball fan, so here's a wild pitch to you about our services. Some plumbing companies are sneaky about stealing from your wallet, while I prefer stolen bases. And just like baseball has unwritten rules, well, plumbing does too. We say, crack of the bat? Good. Crack of the plumber? Bad. So our team shows up in uniform, ready to work with no curveballs. And like a closer, you can save the day with Darley's Plumbing, where quality counts. Online at darleysplumbing.com.
When you get a hankering for something sweet, join us at Woody's Barbecue for a slice of sky-high pie or Mom's banana pudding. High-flying Jack O'Brien, take it from me. Come see us at Woody's.
At Woody's Barbecue, it's what we do.
Let's eat.
The IRS has just received $80 billion in funding to hire 86,000 IRS agents. If you owe the IRS, now is the time to take action before the IRS comes after you or your business. There's no time to waste. Call J. David Tax Law for a no-cost consultation at 904-507-4777. That's 904-507-4777. Or visit jdavidtaxlaw.com. Peace of mind is only a click or phone call away.
The 9 after 5 keeps rolling at Southampton. Joe C. inviting you to jump on the tee every Wednesday at the Golf Club of Southampton. Just call 287-PLAY and sign up. We'll give you a little time after work to get there. Always a fun 9-hole game. Chef Gary preparing something nice for afterwards. Prizes and more than anything else. Playing golf with buds and having some suds after. It's the 9 after 5 every Wednesday at the Golf Club of Southampton. Call 287-PLAY and get on the tee with Joe C.
Leon Searcy here. You've heard it said that every vehicle has a triangle of safety: the tires, brakes, and the front end. So I trust my friends at Famous Automotive and Quick Lube to always keep my ride running safe and smooth. And listen up, and if you're an auto manager or service tech, you want to work with the best family in the business, visit any Famous Automotive shop today. They're hiring now. And hey, tell them Big Sur sent you.
Famous Automotive and Famous Quick Lube, servicing every customer and employee like they're famous.
Equal opportunity employer.
This is Brandon with North Florida Epoxy Floors.
Our product gives you a custom high-quality appearance and the longest-lasting finish at a more affordable price. So for your garage, home, or business, research the difference between 100% solids epoxy and the products like polyurea, which can be kinda fishy. Our epoxy includes a moisture vapor barrier, essential in Florida, so your North Florida epoxy floor looks great and is warranted with no fine print. Get a free estimate at northfloridaepoxyfloors.com.
Pickett here for Zero Res. Fall is my favorite time of the year. It's cooling down outside. It's perfect weather to get your tile and carpet cleaned. It's Zero Res. They're falling back in time. For September only, you get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned for $129, and they'll clean a 4th room free. That's right, the 4th room is on me. At Zero Res, their mission is simple. Become the most trusted provider in their industry. Give Zero Res a chance to earn your trust. Zero Res, spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
How much does a cloud weigh? The answer coming right up.
It's always a good idea to compare homeowners' insurance rates instead of renewing year in and year out. Log on to southernoak.com and get an instant quote in minutes.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
According to the National Geological Society, a normal cumulus cloud can weigh up to 1 million pounds, or about 500 tons.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
It's like a bunch of buddies eating wings and talking sports. Join me, Leon Searcy, on XL Primetime, weekdays from noon to 1:30 for Lunch with Leon, courtesy of my friends at Wingstop. The flavor gets its wings on 1010 XL.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL FM, Jacksonville Beach. This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL. Now, another interview on the Farah and Farah phone line, brought to you by the accident attorneys at Farah and Farah.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Florida Gators get their season underway Saturday, the debut for head coach Billy Napier as they take on the former Pac-12 champion Utah Utes. What a game it's going to be in Gainesville on Saturday. Let's talk to a man that knows all about wearing the orange and blue for the University of Florida. Former Gator wide receiver Riedel Anthony was a huge part of that national championship team back in 1996, and he joins us here on 1010XL. Riedel, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How you doing, Ryan? Thanks for having me.
Hey, Riedel, we certainly appreciate you joining us, man. First and foremost, we see the news today. You're going to be the honorary Mr. Two Bits on Saturday night, man. That's awesome. What's your thought on that?
I'm rather excited. It's a great accomplishment and opportunity, to represent the University of Florida at one of the biggest games in the last, I would say, 10 years, and to be able to do Mr. Two Bits, who I had the opportunity to watch, during my years at Florida after the third quarter, do his thing. I'm just trying to live up to the hype. He set a high standard. Everybody get hyped when he's there. So I'm just trying to come up with something to just meet his expectations.
You're right about it being one of the biggest games at Florida Field in quite some time. Riedel, it's the debut for Billy Napier. We've spent so much time talking about Billy Napier. What's been your thought on the hire of Napier and what he's done to this point?
I'm very happy with the hire, and I think he's proven himself, moving up the ranks. And everywhere he's been, he's, put together, built a great program. And, a great program comes with recruiting, one, two, getting the fans involved, and three, just winning games. So he's definitely on the right track. And with the recruiting class he has coming in, seems to be, forming into something special. But it seems the few times I've been up there, he surrounded himself with a great coaching staff. Everybody talk about Nick Saban and what he does. Nick Saban, he'll get out there and coach a little bit, but he's so confident in his assistant coaches that he don't have to do much. So that's the key to building a great program and building Florida back up. The assistant coaches, guys that can go out and recruit, guys that are recognized around the country, not just the East Coast, Midwest. They're recognized in California, and maybe we even go over to Hawaii and get a player. But with all that being said, he's definitely surrounded himself, I feel, with a great staff.
Rideau Anthony was a terrific wide receiver at the University of Florida. He's with us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville, and he will be the honorary Mr. Two Bits Saturday night for Florida and Utah, a 7 o'clock kick, a game you'll hear right here on 1010XL radio in Jacksonville. Rideau, there's a quarterback down there at Florida wearing number 15. I know that's something close to your heart with you, 15, Tebow being 15, and now Anthony Richardson, number 15. What's your thought on AR coming into the year?
I think he's poised for a big season. If he just continues to develop and take what's in front of him, and as we know, the KISS, as most coaches call it, keep it simple, and I will not say the last word, but you know what I'm referring to. And what he has to do is utilize the weapons that he has around him, because you can think you can throw it all over the field, but one thing I was taught by playing for Coach Spurrier, he would say, just get it in their hands and they'll do the rest. And when it shows up on the stat sheet, it just say 1 attempt, 1 completion, 80 yards, touchdown. It doesn't describe that he threw it 77 yards and the dude ran 3 yards. So if he can just be patient and get it into those guys' hands, get them some confidence, because he's going to probably have more confidence than any of those guys. But to get the skill guys involved, that would be great, for the team to get out to a fast start. And then the momentum and with the crowd, they have a chance to do something special. I guess last year Alabama came in number 1 or 2, but in a while we haven't had a top 10 team come to, the swamp. So he don't have to do too much. Just stay within what he does and just let the game come to him. And as far as the number 15, geez, I wish I'd have chosen another number, because, I just can't catch a break.
Yeah.
All these quarterbacks coming 15, they touch the ball every play,
That's
I
right.
did not.
Well, look, you were one of the best, I still say, in the history of Florida football. Rideau Anthony, Ike Hilliard, and Jaquez Green. The three of you guys, probably the 3 best wide receivers on one given Gator team at the same time. Rideau, what about the wide receivers, the running backs this year? I mean, they got Justin Shorter and Ricky Pearsall and Xavier Henderson. Do you think those guys are enough for Anthony to be successful this year?
Yes, they are, and they have to be. It's not a matter if they're enough. It's a matter of they going to live up to the worst word you can put beside any individual is potential. And just, Ryan, for what you do for a living, he will be still around his arms. Ryan, you got the potential to have one of the best sports talk shows. It's potential. Why haven't you reached it? So it's time for them to grow up, go out there and make plays. I mean, Shorter is going in on year 5 or 6. Xavier Henderson, he's year 3, I want to say. So in a running back situation, you have plenty of weapons back there. You have 3-4 different types of running back. So you have a lot of different skill set at your fingertips. It's just a matter of who's going to take that jump. Who's going to show up Saturday and be like, hey, I belong here. and I'm going to put on a show for the people back home. That when you playing football, you trying to impress the people at home more than you are the people in the stands. So, cause they hold you to a higher standard. So it's time for those guys to, hey, take it on and be great. Stop sitting back and wait for people to just create all these ways for you to be great when they've already put you in a position to be successful. Now it's time for them to take the initiative and turn their careers around and make a huge statement on a huge stage.
Final moments here with Riedel Anthony. He was a member of that national title winning 1996 Florida Gator football team. Riedel, we just celebrated 25 years since that title back in January, and you look back at that team with you and Ike and Quez and Fred Taylor and, of course, Danny Warfel. I mean, my goodness, an embarrassment of riches on offense. What are some of your fondest memories from hanging out with those guys?
Well, I can't remember that far back, but since you had to throw 25 years out there with an emphasis, I feel some type of way. But no, it was, I mean, the entire year was just fun. One thing about those teams back then, we went into every season thinking we were going to go undefeated. And we played that way, and we competed in the weight room all season running and definitely in practice. And when you build that type of culture of competition all the time, it only makes everyone better. Because if you go somewhere and you the man and they keep just allowing you to get away with stuff, not practice hard, do this and that, you're not going to develop or get any better or reach your full potential. But back then, I swear, my funnest times were after practice, and we would have, depending on what video game came out, we would start a season. We had a football season with NCAA and Madden. We had a basketball season with NBA 2K. And we even tried soccer. So a lot of guys couldn't pick up the soccer controls. But just building those relationships and spending all that time together just made us closer and want to go out and not disappoint each other.
Those memories are unbelievable. Gator fans loved every minute of the Spurrier-led Gators there in the mid to late 90s. Riedel Anthony was a huge part of that. Riedel, a lot of Gator fans here in Jacksonville, man. Probably haven't heard from you in a while. What's Riedel Anthony's life like these days? What are you up to?
I'm not doing too much. I've been doing my training. I have my own little wide receiver academy that I do the training out of this facility here in the Wesley Chapel area, which is just north of Tampa, called RAD, Advent Health. So I do training with youth all the way up through, NFL guys, etc. And I also work on a new addition. Me and my wife, we have a 10-month-old son. So,
oh, congratulations! That's awesome.
Yeah, so where my time is at, chasing him around the house because he's up and running already. So I'm getting him in shape. He has to do 5 staircases a day, and we're getting ready. We're getting ready because we're gonna come to the swamp in 17, 18 years. No matter what it's looking like, we're going to change things.
All right, well, keep your eyes out, Gator fans. The class of 2040, it'll be Riedel Anthony, son there, committing to the University of Florida. Absolutely.
Oh, my God. 2040, geez. Yeah.
Riedel, thank you so much for joining us, man. Have a great time Saturday night. Again, Riedel Anthony will be the honorary Mr. Two Bits down there in the swamp for Florida and Utah. It was great catching up. Let's maybe do this again in a month or two. We'll see where the Gators are at that point.
Sounds good, Ryan. Just give me a call, and we can definitely get it going.
Always enjoy the conversation with Riedel Anthony, and congratulations to him and his wife, a 10-month-old. Yeah, I know what that's like. I got a 3-year-old at the house. By the way, speaking of that, the world debut, are you kidding me? Mark your calendars for this Thursday. Little Hacker Jr., whatever you want to call him, He is making his 1010XL debut in a big way. It's Hack and Little Hack. Make the picks. 4 games every week of football season. Obviously, this week it's all college, but my man will compete against me every week as Hack and Little Hack make the picks, and he will, again, be on 1010XL for the very first time coming up on Thursday night. Again, thank you to Reed L. Anthony, Mr. Two Bits, the honorary Mr. Two Bits, coming up Saturday for Florida and Utah. We've done a ton of NFL. We've done a ton of college football. What about under the Friday night lights? It was an awesome week 1 last week. A lot of really good games, a couple of really big upsets. Every Tuesday night here on Hacker After Dark, we give you the high school spotlight. We spotlight some coaches. We spotlight some big storylines that are taking place coming up this Friday night, and this Friday night, week 2 of the high school football season. Big game at Bowles between Bowles and Mandarin. We'll talk to Bowles Bulldogs head coach Matthew Toblin. A big game at Trinity Christian between Trinity Christian and Rains. We'll talk to Rains head coach Donovan Maslin. We'll also talk to our guy Justin Barney of Channel 4. The high school spotlight here on Hacker After Dark is next. It's 1010XL 92.5 FM.
I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell,
1010XL.
Drivers and heavy truck mechanics, if you like sports, then you're going to love working at Waste Management.
We have a team atmosphere here where we're looking out for one another. We jump in to help out.
Listen up. WM is now offering a $5,000 new hire bonus to CDL drivers and heavy truck mechanics for jobs at our sites in Jacksonville, Green Cove Springs, Callahan, and St. Augustine.
It's camaraderie. It's everything. I like it.
Steady work, competitive pay, weekly paychecks, opportunities for overtime, paid training, and a generous boot and tool allowance.
Plus, over-the-top benefits like 100% tuition coverage for you and your family, and home every day.
CDL drivers and heavy truck mechanics. Apply online at WM.com/careers. That's WM.com/careers. Search driver and mechanic jobs in Jacksonville, Green Cove Springs, Callahan, and St. Augustine, Florida.
A people first, military friendly, equal opportunity employer. We are WM.
Attention sports fans, your favorite sportsbook, BetUS.com, is back for our 28th year of NFL action. With the industry's biggest sign-up bonus of up to 200%, BetUS offers our members the chance to cash in on all of your favorite leagues, including the NFL, NBA, MLB, and more. We've also got hundreds of new casino games, including the coolest European slots, and our live dealers are waiting for you at the tables. Sign up at BetUS.com or call 1-800-79-BET-US and get into the action. Don't forget to mention promo code RADIO. BetUS, where the game begins.
Men, if you're struggling with erectile dysfunction or PE and frustrated taking pills that don't work, Prime Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough medical treatments that effectively treat your problem. 98% of patients experience immediate results during their first office visit. And for a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Rubinsky. The physicians at Prime Men's Medical Center offer the most advanced treatments that eliminate ED and PE. Now men are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
Guys, to eliminate your frustration in the bedroom, call Prime Men's Medical Center now to take advantage of this exclusive limited-time offer. Your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free, and you'll see instant results right in the office. Call now, 904-664-8217. 904-664-8217. That's 904-664-8217.
Universal Roof and Contracting.
Protect your roof from hurricanes with a complimentary roof inspection with Universal Roof and Contracting. Get $250 off a roof repair and $500 off a roof replacement project with a free warranty upgrade for first responders and veterans. Plus, no money down, no payments or interest for 1 year.
Offer expires August 31st. Restrictions apply.
License number CCC 1330747, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com.
Beaches Jewelry and Pawn is ready to help. If you need extra cash or a quick loan, Beaches Jewelry and Pawn has cash in hand. They also love to buy items of value. They need gold, silver coins, and flatware, jewelry, guitars, and of course, guns.
Mark Watson for Hardball Creative, letting you know that Hardball has cooler promotions, but some people call them ice chests. Either way, check out the items you can put your company logo on at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
Mystic Cornhole Company is the first choice for high-quality custom boards made right here in Jacksonville. But if you have a cornhole emergency, drop by their shop on Phillips Highway and pick up your new set today. MysticCornholeCompany.com.
Brackish Vodka, part of the Brackish brands, is made right here in Jacksonville. 100% from corn and gluten-free. It's the local answer to Tito's. Brackish Vodka is the proud partner of Growlers Bar at Tailgaters, and we will be pouring free samples of our local vodka, as well as selling merch at each home game. Brackish brands are for those who live life slightly salty. And once you try Brackish Vodka, you'll be slightly salty too. You've never had vodka this smooth. Buy Brackish at any Shores Liquor. See you on game day.
Hey Jags fans, Brian Sexton for Dreamfinders Homes. In a complex housing market, do decisions on the biggest purchase of your life stress you out? At Dreamfinders Homes, they can build the home of your dreams in one of their many communities in Northeast Florida. With a mortgage company in-house, they're here to assist you throughout the entire process. Choose from their wide range of single-family homes or townhomes from the 300,000s. Dreamfinders Homes specializes in homes built to fit your lifestyle. Call 904-590-2545 or visit dreamfindershomes.com.
Kuhn Flowers is now offering their buy a dozen, get a dozen assorted roses free for just $74.95. Better hurry. This is a limited time offer. Kuhn's 75th anniversary. Buy a dozen assorted roses and get a dozen absolutely free. Kuhn Flowers.
2 hours spent on two things: your Jags and the rest of the NFL with Mike Dempsey and Fat Tony.
Jaguars Today from the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute studios.
Every weekday from 10 to noon on 1010XL. This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL. Now, hello. Another great guest on the Farah and Farah phone line. Brought to you by the accident attorneys at Farah and Farah.
And welcome into the High School Spotlight on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. We are glad you are with us. Week number 1 in the books, a very exciting Week 2 is on the horizon. One of the main games in Week 2 around the Northeast Florida area will be right here on 1010 AM Friday night, as Mandarin travels to Bowles in a game that'll be very, very interesting there on the south side of Jacksonville. Matthew Toblin is the head coach of the Bowles Bulldogs. He's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Coach, how we doing?
Not bad. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Hey, Coach, we always thank you for the time. Let's look back last week a little bit. A road game for you guys in St. Johns County against a very good St. Augustine team. And man alive, it was close there in the first half. St. Augustine battled, but at the end, you guys pulled away, won it by 20+. You must have been very, very satisfied.
No, and really, really happy with our performance, especially the effort that we played with. And there were guys making big plays, the receivers, the tight ends. They did a really good job. St. Augustine did a really good job of making it difficult for us to get our run game going in the first half. And then just our kids stayed and continued to fight. And when you play really good teams, it's going to be close and back and forth. And as the game went on, like we were able to make the plays we needed to make. And that we're really excited because we do have a bunch of young guys and new starters, and that's weathering that storm that St. Augustine brought early in the game was a huge part of it. But hopefully we can continue to get better as we go throughout the year. We
talked about it on the postgame show with you last Friday, but clearly your offensive line, one of the strengths of your team. You got a couple Division I guys on that line, and boy, that really came to fruition. They kind of took over the game in the second half.
No, agreed. And that, the running lanes and the time to throw and all that stuff really started to develop. And that, that's kind of our goal. We've talked about it, since Kate Frew graduated. That's been the question that whenever we talk to media is the offense has got to become more diverse. And, if you load the box, we can throw it effectively. If you spread bodies out to take away the throw, we can run it effectively. And so really when we get that going where we're able to run, throw, do a bunch of things, it's when we're really going to be good on offense. And so getting that run game going in the second half is a huge part of the success of the entire offense.
Matthew Toblin of the Bulls Bulldogs here with us on the High School Spotlight, 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Coach, you've been one of the long-tenured guys in the area at Ponte Vedra, now at Bulls, an assistant before that. I'm always curious, week 1 to week 2, how big is the difference after that first game gets under your belt? How much improvement do you see in the second week?
It's unbelievable. Like, there's no substitute for playing a game. And, yeah, we all had kickoff classics. The kickoff classic is usually, we're subbing, we're playing a bunch of guys. Like, it's not the same. And so, it is probably the biggest jump, as a coach you hope to make. We're practicing and trying to get things, in line. And we would like to think that week 1 we're ready to go, but nothing exposes flaws and issues and room for improvement from your team like playing against an opponent. And so especially playing against somebody good like St. Augustine. And so we would like to think the biggest jump we make is between week 1 and week 2. And that, there's a lot of things as well as we played that we put on film that we need to fix, but then a lot of just stuff to go through. Like both of us, and I'm sure it was across the city, look, there's no running you could do in order to replicate a game. And so just the cramping and getting yourself into game shape is a huge part of it. I mean, we talked about it. The weather the last 2 weeks has made it really hard for teams to be ready for games. I mean, we probably practiced indoors or got half a practice. 80% of our practices were altered somehow by weather. And so getting out there and playing a game was really big for our team and hopefully pays dividends moving forward.
I got to tell you, Coach, looking at the schedule this week, there's a lot of really good games. One of the main reasons we wanted to have you on is I think you might be in the best game. It's going to be right here on 1010 a.m., Mandarin coming off a big road win at Fletcher. Fletcher doesn't lose a lot at home, particularly on opening night. Mandarin went in there and won. You guys coming off a big road win against St. Augustine. And this Mandarin Bowls game hasn't been played in quite some time. We're going to see it Friday night. That looks like it's going to be a great atmosphere.
I would think it's going to be a great atmosphere. I mean, it's such a short drive and commute, and it's kind of a natural game that we should be playing. I think that, their crowd will show up. Our crowd will show up first game of the season. I think it'll be an electric atmosphere. And I think even for casual fans, I mean, they've got receivers with Florida and Florida State and quarterbacks with Florida and Florida State offers. And we've got kids that are going to play college football on Saturday. And just from the quality of ball on the field and the opportunity to see this kind of talent, it is, even the common fan should make the trip out. But I think both of our student bodies, it'll be an exciting game, and I think it'll be a really cool atmosphere.
Have you had a chance to look at Mandarin from last week? And if so, what did you see?
I saw the two big takeaways would be the elite athleticism that they have on the field. I mean, there are multiple guys that on any given touch could score. That from at running back, at quarterback, at receiver, they are an electric offense, but also the diversity of what they do. I mean, they're gonna show a lot of looks, and they're gonna have a bunch of different ways to get the ball to their playmakers, and the coaching staff does a great job of doing that. I mean, they're not going to be 4 yards of cloud of dust, but they're also not going to run things over and over and over again and give us a chance to kind of take things away we've seen. And so they're going to do a lot of stuff. And defensively, they play with a lot of effort like that. And again, they show a lot of stuff. They're going to be in 3-4 one snap. They're going to be in a 4-2-5 the next snap. They're going to be in something else the next snap. They are. They're gonna test us schematically, and so they're a really good football team early in the season to have that stuff in, and they're really athletic and they play hard. And I think that's the sign of a motivated team, is that they're going to play hard for each other. And so we're excited about the matchup, and it's another chance for us to test ourselves and get better.
Major bragging rights on the south side Friday night. Mandarin at 1-0, traveling to Bulls, who is 1-0. And again, that game will be right here on 10:10 a.m. this Friday evening. Matthew Toblin of the Bulls Bulldogs. Coach, best of luck. We hope we're talking to you on the postgame show Friday night.
Thank you very much. I look forward to it, hopefully.
And thank you to Bulls Bulldogs head coach Matthew Toblin. Boy, they have a big one on Friday night. Mandarin and Bulls. Of course, you will hear that game right here on 10:10 a.m. on Friday evening. Another big one in Duval County this Friday will take place at Trinity Christian, the Rains Vikings, and Trinity Christian, both teams coming into the game 1-0. Let's go to Rains High School. Let's preview the ball game on Friday night with Donovan Maslin, the head coach of Rains, always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Coach, how we doing?
Hey, we're doing pretty good.
Coach, we certainly appreciate the conversation. Look, it's a big game when you guys and Trinity get together. We'll preview the game here in a moment, but let's take a look back. Hard-fought 19-13 victory over Monsignor Pace, a South Florida program with a lot of heritage, and you must have been very proud of the way your team performed last Friday.
I was definitely proud of, to be able to fight through adversity. I think back to 2020 whenever it rained for us, we kind of crumbled and didn't know how to respond. And I think when it rained last Friday, the team band together. They believed and trusted in one another, and they went out and made plays to where we had more points at the end of the ball game. So I see the maturation and the growth in the kids and their mental toughness to be able to fight through that adversity and become victorious.
It is the high school spotlight here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM, speaking with Rains Vikings head coach Donovan Maslin. Coach, we talked about this on the postgame show last week, but for the benefit of our audience tonight that might have missed that, another year for you. Obviously, you're the established guy now. You were with Duran Wiley on his staff when they won back-to-back state championships. Duran steps aside. You assume the reins there, no pun intended, at Rains High School. And, boy, you guys have really started playing well. You and your staff seem to have it rolling. Do you feel good about where the program is now with you in year number, year 3, I guess?
This is year 3. I feel real good, but I'm not satisfied. The end goal is always a state title year in and year out. So until we, producing those state titles, we'll never be satisfied with what we've done so far. But I am excited about the ascending, the way the program is ascending off the field as well inside the classroom. We're doing Saturday school on the weekends so that kids can become graduation ready, get extra tutoring. So as a whole, on and off the field, I'm definitely pleased with what, the program is doing so far.
Coach, there's a lot of Florida State fans listening tonight that are very interested in one of your defensive backs. Tell them all about Kirkland, the DB that committed to FSU. He's quite the player.
Oh, he's definitely quite the player, but he's even more better off the field as a well-rounded young man, a well-rounded student athlete, a great home upbringing, yes sir, no sir type kid, humble. And most of all, he works hard, and he's definitely a leader, natural born leader for us, and he's done it, over the course of 4 years. So I'm just excited to see him, get what he deserves, which is, a commitment to Florida State. And he plays at Rains right now, but he's definitely, has Florida State deeply in his hearts. And they're getting a dynamic football player who's versatile, can play corner, can play safety, can play slot corner. So he's going to be all over the field, for us on Fridays, and then definitely on Saturdays for Florida State.
He was a big part of, it looked like a great defensive effort last week. Monsignor Pace, a very good program, holding them to 13 points. What an effort by your defense.
Yeah. They only gave up one touchdown, and that came off of 4th down, like a broken play, missed tackle. And then the other point came from a pick 6. So defensively, they stepped up to the challenge. Whenever you got a team coming up from down south, for a fact that it's a dynamic team, well-rounded with talent, some highly recruited guys. They had a defensive back committed to FIU. So there's talent, definitely talent whenever you talk about a South Florida team. So we haven't played, in the regular season, we haven't played a perennial team since Miami Northwestern. So we really wanted this game to show that, the up north schools, have something to say.
Donovan Maslin of Rains. All right, Coach, it's one of the games of the week, no question about it. You guys and Trinity Christian, what sort of challenges does a team like Trinity present? Obviously, we know about Colin Hurley. We know about Trayon Webb. I would think those are got to be your 2 priorities in stopping them this week.
Definitely, those two guys are dynamic. Quarterback has definitely, risen to the challenge, winning the state title as a ninth grader, and, controlling the offense, and Trayon coming in and, having that power running style. But, we cannot forget about Mr. Rogers, number 4. He's a dynamic back, versatile at the backfield. He runs hard, so he's definitely going to be tough to tackle. But we're up for the challenge defensively. Our defense knows what's at stake and what they have to do. Going back from last year to fatigue, blown assignments, missed tackles, and what it can lead to. So we're looking forward to it. Tough opponent. You want to play these types of teams so that when the playoffs come, your guys are mentally prepared. They're physically ready for tough opponents in the playoffs. And, it's always good to play Trinity Christian. It's almost turned into like a little rivalry, but, it's an exciting game for the community. I think a lot of people will come out to see both teams go at it. So I'm excited. The kids are excited and they're ready.
Final moments here with Donovan Maslin, the head coach of Raines. And I would think from week 1 to week 2, every team hopes they see a jump. And it's a great opportunity for you guys. As you said, only 8 teams won a state title last year in the state of Florida. Right. Trinity Christian's one of them. This will be a really good test to see where you guys are at moving forward.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. And that's one thing I can take. I always tell people, Coach Wiley always thought about the road down, the road ahead. Like, how can I get my team prepared for the state run? And playing teams like Trinity will definitely get you there. They're year in and year out, have great talent. They're coached very well by Coach Dormady. So it's a good battle, a good matchup to see where we're at and to see how we're going to fare down the road. So comparing last year to this year, definitely from our kickoff classic to week 1, we've improved, penalty-wise. And so I'm excited to see what we'll do from week 1 to week 2.
Donovan Maslin, the head coach of the Raines Vikings. They travel to Trinity Christian on Friday night in what will be one of the games of the area here in Northeast Florida. Coach, best of luck. We hope we're talking to you under the Friday night lights.
Thank you. Looking forward to it.
And thank you to Donovan Maslin of Raines for joining us here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Good week 2 of action. We've talked Mandarin and Bowles. We just talked Raines and Trinity Christian. We'll talk about those games and look around the rest of Northeast Florida with Justin Barney of Channel 4. That is next. As the high school spotlight here on Hacker After Dark rolls on, it's 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Get more downforce on Jacksonville's NASCAR station this Sunday at Darlington.
And he's got a lot of steam coming.
Brought to you by the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234. From the station with the most horsepower, 1010XL.
On the south side, we got 6 poly panels. And please, make sure they're flush.
Kwame is converting everyone on the block to solar power.
Please get a crew to wrap up 202 South Duane.
He needs more certified installers before the sun sets on his business boom.
Let's pick up the pace. We got a long day.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Tired of living with chronic joint pain from arthritis or injury? Stop with the steroids and pain meds and don't have surgery until you check out regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics.
These therapies can help the body have long-term relief of your pain.
Meet Dr. Justin Garzone, Medical Director at QC Kinetics.
We use your body's own healing properties, highly concentrate them, and then use that to restore and repair the damaged tissues in your joints.
This is a cutting-edge natural solution from local medical professionals.
We have a team of medical assistants, physician assistants, nurse practitioners, and physicians that are trained specifically just to do regenerative medicine.
And Dr. Garzone speaks from personal experience. Before joining the QC Kinetics team, he was an actual patient.
I am now pain-free.
You too can get lasting relief from joint pain. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522. That's 904-274-5522. 904-274-5522.
Be confident you're in control of your banking with free digital tools, fewer fees,
and a team that's ready to help. Add an account at justbeyourself.com. Community First Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
Are you looking to be a part of a company where you feel respected and your efforts will be recognized? Jason Parker here with Performance Painting. We're hiring professional painters and trainees who are friendly and have an eagerness to learn and grow. If you don't take yourself too seriously, but do take your profession seriously, you're likely to be a good fit here. Great pay, paid time off, medical, dental, and a company-matched 401k are just a few of the benefits waiting for you at Performance Painting. Go to performance-painting.com. Performance Painting, quality coatings applied with pride.
Equal opportunity employer.
Jeff Prosser here. Do you have a damaged roof on your home? I did too, so I had Ken Lawler and his team help me get my roof replaced through my property insurance. Ken, tell us how it works.
Jeff, our team walks you through the process and eliminates the confusion that comes with filing an insurance claim and getting it properly settled. It's all free if we don't recover money for your claim. If you have a damaged roof, call Fifth Element Adjusting or visit FEAclaims.com. If you're happy with the outcome of your claim, Fifth Element Adjusting will not be able to help you. Ken Lawler, DFS number P213199.
Estate cleanouts, hoarding cleanouts, old appliances, and even tools. There are tons of reasons why you or someone you know may need expert help clearing space. J-Dog Junk Removal will responsibly help you free up space. That means when they leave your place, it looks better. Whether it's you or a loved one that needs one type of clean out at your home, trust the veterans at J-Dog Junk Removal. Veteran owned and operated. Call 844-GET-JDOG or visit jdog.com.
Though no longer little, teens still need a lot of love. Yet teens in foster care have a harder time finding it, as 82% of foster families are home to kids 12 or younger. You can positively impact a teen's life as a foster parent with help from Family Support Services of North Florida. You provide patience, love, and understanding, and Family Support Services will offer specialized training, resources, and a community of support. Take the next step at foster-now.org. That's foster-now.org.
At Hidden Hills Golf Club, we're seeing more golfers enjoying the game than ever before. Friends, fun, and fresh air on a fantastic golf course is what it's all about. And if you want to get in the game, visit hiddenhillsgc.com and book your tee time today.
He's the quarterback whisperer.
You can do this?
Denny Thompson joins the drill Friday mornings in the 8 o'clock hour to talk QB.
This man right here does whatever it takes.
Brought to you by Honest Abe Roofing and Tyson Sound and Security on 1010XL. This 1010XL 92.5 FM hour is powered by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. Time now for Hackers High School Spotlight on Hacker After Dark. Now,
hello.
Another great guest on the Farah and Farah phone line. Brought to you by the accident attorneys at Farah and Farah.
Back here on the High School Spotlight, Hacker After Dark, 1010XL 92.5 FM. It is week number 2 on the high school football gridiron. And let's talk to our friend Justin Barney, Channel 4, the local station. He does a terrific job covering high school sports and really all sports now with his new role there at Channel 4. Justin, how we doing?
Not bad, Hack. Thanks for having me.
Hey, Justin, always appreciate the time, man. Let's take a quick look back last week. Couple of things that jump right out to me I want to get your thoughts on. First with Jackson. All right, Jackson played Brunswick in what was week 0, a game that did count. They lost a hard-fought battle. They go to Nice. They play way up in classification last week, Justin, and Jackson put it on. The Nice Panthers won by 20 points. It shocked me. How good is this Jackson Tiger football team?
Yeah, really excellent performance. I was up there in Brunswick in week 0 and saw them play there, and I thought they battled extremely, extremely well. And you could see on the field before the game that I don't know if awestruck was the proper word. Maybe Jackson's a smaller school. They're a magnet school program now. They're not the Jackson you remember with Leon Washington and those guys back in the day. They're a different program now. So you see a team like Brunswick, a public school power, and all the players, and they're playing in a beautiful turf field with the scoreboard that's just unbelievable, like a small college scoreboard. Just a different environment up there. So I don't know if it was nerves up there. I don't know what, but stamina got them in that game. But I thought a very good showing for Jackson, who has to had to replace quite a few players. I know we hear and talk about Grayson Howard quite a bit, but there are a lot more guys on that team than just Grayson Howard. And they showed that effort in week 1. They lost 23-13. Good performance. I think they just ran out of gas. But, last week showed me a lot. You go to Nice on the road, a team that was 9-4 last year, regional finalists, and you go out and you whip them pretty good. 15-3 at half. Marcus Stokes had a rushing touchdown in the third quarter to kind of get things started for Nice. But after that, Jackson just pulled away. They win 30-13, and just an unbelievable performance, I thought, from not only Grayson Howard and the defense to hold that team to 13 points, but that offense looked good, so good too. Fred Gaines, very good. King Johnson, the quarterback, throwing it strong all game, and just a good, thorough performance from Jackson all the way through. And I just have to stress that, anytime there's a mega recruit on a team, people tend to look a little bit brighter at that player and maybe overestimate them in a sense and forget about the players around him. But Grayson Howard, I think, would be the first to tell you that that Jackson team is far more than just him, and going on the road and doing what they did to Nice, it really speaks that they're further along than a lot of people maybe expected or gave them credit for. But I think Christopher Foy has been slowly building and putting an infrastructure in place over at Jackson since he got there. And those players truly believe that they can do anything. They can win on the road. They can beat a team like Nice. And I think last week was evidence that Jackson has arrived under Coach Christopher Foy.
Justin Barney of Channel 4. Justin, one of the things I love, and you and I have both been covering high school football long enough to know that public school programs, when it's down times, it is very, very hard for them to get off the canvas. And I look at a team like Creekside in St. Johns County. It wasn't very long ago that they had lost 21 games in a row. That's now a memory. You look at what Jackson's doing. It was, very recently that Jackson was not winning a game in the regular season. And now you look and see what they did against Nice last week. You love to see stories about public schools that kind of get off the mat and reestablish themselves.
Yeah, really, and you bring up Creekside. That's a good example. Really, I think with Jackson and Creekside, two drastically different examples that you can look at. As I mentioned, Jackson, became a magnet school within the last 5 years. And for those not familiar with magnet school, you can draw kids from all over the area, and you have specific programs, academic programs, or achievement programs that you're not drawing the typical student. You've got a different type of student body at that school. So Jackson, Ed White, Wolfson, all in that magnet school brand right now. And Jackson has been able to kind of step forward and with Christopher Foy over there doing some good work, build something there throughout that, with that transition to a magnet school. So I think that is pretty solid. And Creekside with Sean McIntyre, I thought last season was kind of their coming of age season, where you really knew you had a big senior class and to kind of step out and make some noise. And I think you saw that all the way from the first week of the season to the last. They made the playoffs. Great season. I think, they've beaten bowls. They've kind of scaled that wall. So now is the continuous. How do you continue that? And I did not think that game last week, I thought Creekside would be in a tougher game than that. You're coming off a season where you lost a ton of graduates, a ton of seniors from that class last year, not back. But once you get that ball rolling, that infrastructure in place, that's why coaches, Brian Braddock said very famously years ago, we can't count on these massive stars to come in. We can't have 3, 4, 5 stars every year. You've got to have a system in place that stands the test of time. And you look at a Creekside, and I think they're getting to that point too, where you have that system in place where you can kind of weather those graduation losses. And it helps that Creekside's in a booming spot in St. Johns County, and there's no shortage of students, very similar to Bartram Trail and how they grew. You're not going to have a lack of bodies. So it's nice to get that system in place, that infrastructure in place where you can kind of survive the ebbs and flows of those graduation losses. I think Creekside a perfect example of that this year.
It is the high school spotlight here on Hacker After Dark, 1010 XL, 92.5 FM. Justin, one more look back on last week before we look ahead. Other things that caught your eye. I think Ed White, Trinity Christian, probably the game of the night with Trinity holding on 48-40, but in defeat, Ed White pretty much cemented what we knew, is that they're going to be pretty good this year. I look at Fleming Island in Clay County, just a dominating victory over the Clay Blue Devils. They might have put some people on notice as well. What other one or two things caught your eye from week number 1?
Yeah, I thought that Fleming game was a good example. I think Fleming Island is head and shoulders the best team in Clay County. Oakleaf may have something to say about that. But I think this is the year for Damian Springs and Fleming Highland to kind of take that next step into the postseason and really kind of establish themselves. They have a great senior class, a lot of underclassmen too who are contributing and starring there as well. So I thought a great performance from Fleming. Another thing that stood out to me was Bowles, just how resoundingly it rolled through St. Augustine. St. Augustine's not an easy place to play. 34-13 Bowles. Kind of one of my question marks this year. How is Bowles going to look? There's no Cade Frew running that ball. He's been a fixture in that offense for 3 years. Everything ran through that ground game last year in that big offensive line. Well, they showed last week that they're going to be okay. So DJ Moore, quarterback now, he ran well, he threw well. And how about Naeem Burrows, freshman receiver? I thought he had a fantastic debut for in his freshman season. He is going to be a problem this year. Had a long catch and run touchdown, had another good play that set up a touchdown to get inside the 3 with a great veteran move to kind of avoid a tackle. So I thought Bowles looked extremely good, even in spite of having to replace all of that talent that they lost last year. And not just offensively. They lost Jack Pyburn, Hayden Schwartz, some guys on that team who were just monster contributors for those last few years. And Bowles really a great job at weathering that graduation storm.
All right, Justin, let's look ahead here to week 2. You mentioned Bowles. Let's stay right there. The game will be heard right here on 10:10 a.m. Friday night. Mandarin at Bowles, a game that for some reason hasn't been played in a while. They are very, very close geographically. I think it's going to be a great scene on the south side Friday night there on San Jose Boulevard. And a Mandarin team coming in that feels pretty good. I mean, they go out to the beach on opening night, beat a good Fletcher team. That Mandarin Bowles game Friday night is going to be something to watch.
Yeah, it is. Toby Bullock, his first game at Mandarin as head coach. Nice to see him get a W there for his start. He's kind of paid his dues. Former Wolfson guy, reinvented himself by going over to Mandarin, taking an offensive coordinator role and offensive coordinator on that state championship team too. So he replaced Bobby Ramsey. How would that Mandarin team change? We saw it last week that they're going to be a tough out. Good kickoff return by Kieran Jackson last week, and just a good showing for the Mustangs. And if you're a Bowles team, you're always worried about how you're going to do against a bigger team, a larger program than you. Mandarin's one of the biggest schools in the area, so that's gonna play a part. That depth does become a factor. Mandarin a lot more bodies than Bowles does, so could that be a factor in the still developing Bowles team? How will that size discrepancy play out on Friday night? I think that's an excellent matchup. And at Trinity Christian at Range too, last week, 48-40 over White. I mean, we knew about Trayon Webb and Darnell Rogers going into this game. 191 and 189 rushing yards for those guys last week, 6 combined touchdowns. They're going to run the ball at you, and you still got to stop them. It's similar to Derrick Henry. Every time, probably 9 out of 10 offensive snaps, Derrick Henry's getting that ball at Yulee, and Yulee just challenged you to stop him, and you couldn't. Last week, Trinity Christian, same thing. There's 2 good running backs. They're going to run the ball down your throat. They still couldn't stop him at Ed White. 48 points. How does Raines slow down at Trinity Christian this week with those 2 big backs running right at you?
Yeah, Raines coming off a big win over Monsignor Pace out of the South Florida area. Justin, we saw Ed White Trinity Christian last week. We see Mandarin Bowles this week. Games that should have been played, in my opinion, that for whatever reason were not played for years and years. Now they are in 2022. Any reasoning for that? Why all of a sudden now are these games popping back on the schedule?
I think one word, RPI and ratings points. Those are huge in that factor now. And when I talked to Christopher Foy on the road at Brunswick a couple weeks ago, they replaced a team on their schedule with Brunswick. And the reason for that, RPI points. Brunswick was 11-1 last year. You're going to get major ratings points out of playing a team like that. Not alone just the ratings points, but just that experience you gain. So I think a Mandarin Bowles game, even though it would have made sense years ago, in the landscape of high school football has changed as well. There were coaches who didn't want to play other coaches or teams in the area. I mean, the public school, private school, because they didn't agree with what they were doing, or they were worried about getting players poached off of their team from one school, or players from one school transferred to the other, so you wouldn't see those 2 teams play, even though it would have been a great game and a great matchup. So I think the the thinking has changed a little bit. I think maybe some of those hardliners who would not schedule before for just those reasons I mentioned have come around on that and looked at that RP or the ratings points and how that will benefit them come playoff times when those ranking points are we've seen teams miss by 10 100ths of a point for a playoff spot. So I think that's why you're going to see those better games week after week right now, because it's about your program. How can you make that strength of schedule better? How can you make yourself better as a team? And I think those Mandarin Bowls type matchups, those Reigns Trinity type matchups accomplish two things. And I think we're going to see a lot more of those going forward.
Justin Barney of Channel 4. Justin, final question. We talked Mandarin Bowls. We talked Trinity Reigns. Is there another game or two aside from those that you would send the folks out to on Friday night?
I like a Baldwin Bradford on Friday night. I mean, we saw Bradford last week, Jamie Rogers, his return to the sideline in Florida, and they were up 21-0 on a Baker County team that reached the state semifinals last year before that game was halted due to weather. So I think that's a good one. I think Bradford is a team kind of on that cusp of just breaking out this year. And they were really good under Brian Tomlinson, just couldn't take that next step. And Jamie Rogers coming back to the area, taking a very good program already in Bradford. I think he can help them get over that hump. So I think a very good matchup. Baldwin, we've seen what they've come under Coach Shields out there, very consistent, stable program. And Baldwin, I like that matchup a lot on Friday night.
Less than 72 hours before week 2 of the high school football regular season. High School Spotlight, Justin Barney of Channel 4. Justin, as always, brother, thank you for the time. We'll talk next week.
Take care, Hack. Thanks for having me.
Always appreciate Justin Barney from Channel 4 joining us here on the High School Spotlight. And that'll just about put a wrap on not only the High School Spotlight, but on a Tuesday night edition of Hacker After Dark. Thank you guys for hanging out with us here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. We have a ton of people to thank. In the High School Spotlight, you heard from Bowls head football coach Matthew Toblin. Of course, they're getting ready for Mandarin on Friday night. That game you will hear right here on 1010 AM. Thank you to Donovan Maslin, the head coach of Reigns High School, as they prepare to travel over to Trinity Christian on Friday night. Again, Justin Barney of Channel 4. Hacker After Dark in hour number 1. Thank you to my man Hayes Carline right here on 1010XL of the Frangie Show for talking about the surprises that the Jaguars have given us the last 24 hours. Rudy Ford cut. Laquan Treadwell cut. Laviska Shenault traded. Today, Jay Tafele cut. Some interesting things going on with the Jaguar roster. And Riedel Anthony. What a treat that was to have Riedel Anthony on, a member of that 96 Gator national title team, one of the best receivers to ever wear the orange and blue at the University of Florida. And Riedel Anthony will be the honorary Mr. Two-Bits on Saturday for the Florida-Utah game. Thank you very much to my friend Riedel Anthony for joining us here on Hacker After Dark. We'll be back tomorrow night on a Wednesday, and we will do it all over again. Dylan Denmark was your producer. Dylan, great job as always, my friend. I'm the Hacker Ryan Green in Jacksonville. Thank you for staying up late with us here on a Tuesday on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. So for all of us on Hacker After Dark, have a great remainder of your Tuesday night, and we'll talk to you on a Wednesday beginning at 8 o'clock. Until then, good night, Jacksonville.
Dan Hicken.
Does that make your sphincter tingle?
Jeff Prosser.
I understand you're pretty funny as a DJ, and, well, comedy is a kind of hobby of mine. Well, actually, it's a little more than just a hobby.
Weekday mornings.
Reader's Digest is considering publishing 2 of my jokes.
Really? On 1010XL.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Hey, school's in session, and here's today's lesson. We have hundreds of certified